military. So how did that come about?
So I left school, went to college, and then I started working at a Total Fitness gym. And I was still sort of experiencing, you know, like mental health struggles and whatever else. And obviously I'd always wanted to join the police. And I don't think they were recruiting at the time and something like that. And I knew I needed to do something that would fulfill me and challenge me mentally and physically. So I applied for the RAF and I got in at 19 and I was like, I'm going to go and join the RAF. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. You know, I've got an unbelievable amount of pride, you know, for being part of it. And, you know, when I did join, me and my family thought, right, this is it, we've cracked it here. You know, it put me in uniform, like it made me stand tall, it made me stand proud. I was surrounded by all these like confident, powerful, independent women who knew themselves. They were gay, you know, so it made me think, oh, that's who I am, you know, because I was questioning my sexuality anyway. And, you know, they didn't dress really masculine. They didn't dress really feminine. They were just themselves and they were just like me. And it made me feel at home. And I was always busy and I was, you know, being challenged physically because I was super fit and I was traveling all over the world and I was doing all these things. And it just filled a void for a long time because that's all I was ever doing. I was just trying to fill a void all the time. You know, I'll buy a car, I'll do this, I'll do my house up, I'll blah, blah, blah.
It's great that, so to interrupt your flow because this is a great conversation, filling the void is something that takes most people a long time to understand. So when did you learn that you're trying to fill a void?
I think I only started learning all these things about myself as I started to transition.
Okay.
Because I've made it an absolute priority to look inside myself and develop that self-awareness and develop the insight of what is it, what do I need, what makes me bad, what makes me, you know, what do I struggle with, what do I want to improve on, how do I build confidence, how do people do that, and so I only really sort of realised that when I actually begun the journey of being my authentic self.
So we'll come back to that. So go back to the RAF, mate. That's how my brain works. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
like a Catherine wheel of thoughts. If I don't ask, I'll forget. I'll be in the car in 2 hours' time. Right. Oh, I should have asked Jax that question.
We'll do like part 5. So I felt at home. I felt like we cracked it. We all thought I'd be in the military forever. You know, this is fantastic. I didn't have to be Jess. I didn't have to think about being Jess. I could just be RAF. You know, I played rugby in the RAF. I was, you know, I was playing a good level of that and I was flying everywhere and I was in a uniform and I just didn't ever have to sit with Jess. So
the perfect escapism.
It sorted me out for 4 years. I was in the RAF for, and we definitely thought we cracked it.
Who's we?
Me and my family, you know, because I was so much happier and I was busy and I was doing everything that I needed to do. I was challenged physically and mentally and I was just everywhere. And
you said you were busy. In those moments of quiet, of silence, what thoughts were in your head?
I was terrified of being on my own. I wouldn't let myself. I just would not let myself. I've always been very scared of my own mind. And I'm not now, but the fear still lies there. Like if I have a bad day or I feel a bit anxious or whatever, and I'll panic because I never want to feel like that again. I never want to think, oh, I'm this sad or I don't want to be here because I love my life and I love my family and I love everything. And I always did. I just weren't settled within myself and I didn't know why. I just was just uncomfortable. I was just anxious and just depressed. And when I weren't doing something or I weren't in uniform, I wasn't okay.
Any stories from the military that you want to go into?
It sort of filled the void for, I'd say, 3 years. And then what happened was I started playing semi-professional rugby. You know, they put a lot of focus if you're playing sport within the military. So they kind of guide you in that direction. And I got posted from the tactical unit that I was on, which had me flying here, there and everywhere every week, to allow me to play more civilian rugby, which then caused me to change to work in like basically a desk job. And I was, but like, I changed instantly because, oh yeah, like I thought I was going to be playing roles of rugby. I was playing like 2 times a week outside of work. And the rest of the time I was sat behind a desk. And that was the first time that I had to sit with Jess. And it maybe about a week in, and I started deteriorating like really fast and become really depressed really quick. And I then started to realise like there's something wrong. And at that point, that's when I obviously got sent away on tour for 4 months. And then when I did come back, obviously I ended up having those conversations with my mum. You know, I wasn't okay. And I left the military. I made the decision to leave because I needed to just be with my mum. And at that point, I still didn't know. And before I had to break it down, I got a job in the prison service and just started a brand new void to fill.
That fascinates me.